wasn't the good weather you were talking about the other day, was it?
No, but I'm looking at the forecast, and Saturday looks all right, so that's okay. We don't want to disappoint Nebraska. They think it rains a lot here, so, you know, we've got to turn some rain on.
How about that going against, you know, of all the teams, there's a former Duck at the head of that one. What is that like?
Yeah, Rhonda Ravel, right? I mean, she knows Bob Hammett pretty well, and I coach with Bob Hammett, and I'm sure she's pretty excited to be coming back to her neck of the woods. And but, you know, hopefully, you know, we know they're a good team. They're very capable. They got some good power in their lineup. Their pitcher of the year, her and Emily Lockman. So, you know, it should be a good matchup. I think we match up well with them. I think, you know, we have a good matchup there. We've got to play our game, you know, get our short people, you know, short hitters on base and drive people in.
You played them earlier this year. How much does that game factor into your scouting heading up to this weekend?
Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. It doesn't matter a whole lot because, you know, we faced their number one, they faced our number one. But they're a different team this time of year, just like we're a different team this time of year. So we got to take that into account. Obviously, I'm going back and looking at how we were successful against them. They hit a home run off of us. We're going to make sure, you know, that we make an adjustment in there. So there is some scouting, but really, when it comes down to it, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
You saw Tatum in that game. What do you see similar or different from more recent game film?
Well, she throws a lot down in the zone, a lot of drop balls, and a lot of change-ups. And she'll throw them in any count. So we've been working on that all this week. We've been working on low balls and change-ups and trying to make some adjustments and be ready for that type of pitching.
Disappointing relieving to not have Nairi in the other dugout this weekend.
It is. I mean, it would have been great to have her on the other side. And, of course, obviously having at least one more Pac-12 team going through to the College World Series, that's what it's all about. Right now there's only 3 possibilities. And hopefully we can keep the 3 of us in the World Series.
It's a pretty special moment for you guys, like getting a chance to host the Supers. I mean, when you put it into perspective from 4 years ago when you took over, this is just what you envisioned that it would be?
Well, absolutely. You know, we wanted to be one of the top 8 premier teams in the country. Have we got there? Not yet. You know, we still need to have a lot more history behind us before that happens, but we're on our way. And, you know, the first step is hosting the Super Regionals. That means we're in the top 8, I mean, for this year at least. And now we just need to keep that seeding going forward. And next year is going to be a big year for us. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead of anything, but you know, we lose some pretty good seniors, so we'll see what happens next year. But right now, we have a good, strong team. We want to make sure we finish the year on a good note. Make sure we go on to Oklahoma City.
How much of a legacy does this senior class leave? The first group that you came in with, and they've just been dynamite across the board.
Well, absolutely huge because you know, 3 out of the 4 are going to be on the record books for sure, and you know, I'm sure Allie's first year as a freshman was up there as well. So they're going to have their names plastered all through that record book. So they're going to have a legacy written in stone.
The offense sputtered a little bit in the regionals. What are you guys working on in practice to try and get back to your brand of softball?
Well, you know, it's something that has to do with good pitching too, you know, and the pitches we faced were difficult. They weren't obviously a Kalani Ricketts or anything like that, but you know, Wisconsin's pitcher was difficult, and I give her kudos. But we're trying to make some adjustments, making sure that we don't take as many strikes, that we use our short game a little bit better. I don't think we got down a really good drag bunt for a base hit, for example, and that's been something we've been done really well. Are other teams prepared for that? Sure, they're making their adjustments and they're getting their corners on top of us, and now we need to adjust back and work ways to push the ball past them. You saw a little bit of that against, I think it was North Carolina, where we showed the bunt and we slapped it by them. I think you could see a little more of that. So we're going to mix and match and take what we're given.
In her first 7 plate appearances of the regional CO, I think was either getting a hit or a sacrifice in some sort. How much do you need her to keep doing that out of the 2-hole this weekend?
Well, it's really big, you know, because you know, with the Decatur, you know, Decatur will come through. So if I can get those 2 on base, you know, and then Peterson gets back to hitting the ball, we're in pretty good shape, and hopefully we can get 1 or 2 runs just out of that part of the lineup, just the top 3. I expect to, and then if we can get Quico coming around and Howard, who's been a little bit cold lately, that should really make our lineup start to pop.
You worried about Kaylin at all, though?
You always worry about it. I mean, you know, I have confidence in her. She's been a career, you know, 350 hitter, and so in this game we talk about as the averages. You know, you may go 0 for 5, 0 for 6, but it doesn't mean you're not a good hitter. It's just that's part of the lineup. You know, it's part of the averages. The averages are that you're going to get a hit here sooner or later. So that's what we're trying to play with here a little bit. You're due.
Mike, there are a couple of Oregonians on that team, and it seemed they played on the same travel team as Alexa and another person on the line. Any history?
Yeah, Haley Decker was a player that we recruited pretty heavily, actually, and we lost out to them on her, but we picked up Carissa Hovingay, and it was kind of like a swap. But that happens sometimes. Kelly Muir, that was before my time here, and she'd already committed. But again, another nice left-handed big bat. So sometimes that happens. Some kids want to just move out of state, and she saw Nebraska as being a better option. Certainly a good ball player, and one we were trying to get.
How good do you think last weekend's experience was for Sheridan, looking at this weekend?
I think it was big. I wanted to give her some postseason experience, obviously going forward. But the other thing I've been really impressed with is the way as Carissa Hovingay's been pitching in practice as well. So I like where our pitching staff is right now. We have 3 really good options, but it was really invaluable to get Sheridan in the game last week.
Any question that Jess is starting game 1?
No question at all. She's starting game 1. So,
Mike,
yeah.
Hosting Super Regionals is great, but as you guys know from last year, there's no guarantee another team could come in and do that. How much is that experience from you guys as a visitors just kind of helping you, dig in for these 3 games?
Absolutely. We're using the experience from Texas last year where, we went in pretty heavy underdog and we lost the first game, in fact, and sometimes there's a little bit of letdown. You win that first game, and if you're the home team, you think you got it won, and you don't, because momentum can change pretty quickly in this game, and that's what we got to factor in. Is like we need to just go out and play the game, like it's 0-0 the whole time, and that's what we're going to try and do.
Thanks, Mike. Good luck to you.